How's it guys? Welcome to another episode of the Hectare Homesteader. Today we're looking at garden placement. Where will you place your garden? You've got a section, you've got a couple of spots that you're thinking is a good place to put a garden. Well, how do you know? How do you determine that? So in today's video we'll take you through all of those steps, have a look at how we found our garden position. It was just a vacant paddock that we purchased, and then figuring out how we're going to do it and where we're going to put it. So guys, in the previous video we were talking about placement, briefly touched on it, location, where you're going to place your garden, and there's a couple of things that's important that you need to keep track of. First of all, the sun, it's your friend, especially when it comes to growing vegetables. Some vegetables prefer morning sun, some prefers the evening or late afternoon sun that's not so harsh, and some of them just prefers full sun all day long. So it's really important to place your garden in such a position where you know exactly where your sun rises and your sun goes down, what sort of plants you are planning on planting. So that's a crucial start. Next thing you need to consider is the amount of plants that you want to plant, and the varieties, and different varieties. And we also look at, like you can see here, we've got a shelter belt of trees that was existing, and we had to get an excavator in to help form this section where we are now, what we call our vegetable garden. When we started building our house, we excavated a lot of dirt, and that all came in here to form the garden. Because of the sheltered location, we have the hill behind us, we have this sheltered belt over here, and we have a valley drop off, so it's its own little microclimate. The other thing we have is we've got our water tanks right behind us, so it's quite close to water. We've got our pump system and filtration system just to my right, and it all comes together. The other thing we're looking at is how you interconnect systems to ensure that you're not too far from your garden, it's easy to work in it, and line things up in such a way that it's really easy to move from one section of the garden to the other section. Easy to work in the garden, easy to shift compost around, easy to shift your mulch around, and also just having a driveway or something that goes past so that you can get trucks in if you do need to get bulk compost or stuff delivered. That also makes it really easy. Even just access for a trailer, if you can have a trailer that can be close by, that you don't have to barrow stuff too far, makes your life really easy. So all little things to consider. Right, so as you can see, our tomatoes are growing in the speed. They're doing really well at this point in time. We need to start staking some more of the tomatoes just to make sure that they are growing up instead of forming a big bush. We want some air ventilation to be able to go through them. It just helps us best in that control. But again, that's another big topic for another day. So with the wind, having your shelter belt, we've had some really bad winds come through here, and we haven't had any damage to fruit falling off and so forth. So you need to determine which way does the wind come, where's your prevailing winds. We know our prevailing winds are from the northwest sort of side coming through there. That's really our bad winds. We get our cold southerlies coming up, and so if you know exactly where those winds are coming from, you can determine where your shelter belt needs to be. Now, we're quite fortunate that we already have these existing trees, but don't be put off by that. You can easily go and just form your fencing line, determine where you want your fence lines, start forming your borderline with some trees and shrubs, and then again, all the vegetables that you want to grow that's not that hardy, you can grow them closer to those trees to give them those shade spots for the mornings or afternoon sun, whatever they desire. And then your other beds you put in the center like we've done here. So there's a couple of tips and ideas on how you can get your placement sorted. So it's just a bit of an overview, and hopefully you'll find some value out of that. So yeah, we're still working on our chicken coop. We've placed it as close as what we could to our vegetable gardens. So when you need to start cleaning out the chicken coop, you can easily clean it into a wheelbarrow, and it's close enough to move to your vegetables and use in your garden. So that's something to consider, is how you're going to link all your spaces that I've touched on earlier. So you've got a space for the chickens where they can have their run, have their chicken coop, and then linking that to your garden. Also, once you're finished with your seasonal gardening, you can get the chickens out to come into your garden, come and clean up, and just fertilize the garden and get it ready for the next season's growing. So it's definitely helpful to have chickens around if you ever plan on having some chickens. That's just another tip. Think of having your chickens close enough so that you can make use of them and use them in your garden. Well guys, so as you can see, we've got our hill behind us that protects us on that side. You've seen earlier the shelter band of trees that we have on that end, and we only really have a little bit of wind coming through from that side, so the chicken coop is also helping to shelter some of the wind that is hitting this bed, and also our other beds. So where we're standing, there's minimal wind. There is a bit of airflow, which is great. You need the airflow to come through your garden, but you don't want winds that's damaging, winds that'll knock your tomatoes off the plants and that sort of stuff. So definitely something to consider when you're planning your garden. The other thing to look at when you're doing your placement, look at your soil conditions. Unfortunately, we've got heavy clay soil. We dragged all the soil from the building site and had to place it somewhere, so we built up this area here so that we have a vegetable garden spot. So this is all heavy clay soil, hence the reason why we're doing our raised garden beds. Now I've got a video on my playlist. If you're interested in that, we'll link it in the card above, where you can go and have a look at how we built our raised garden beds. There's two different videos. We did one with the Macucapa sleepers, or you can just get redwood sleepers or whatever wood you've got available that's untreated, and we've just used standard logs from a logging operation close by that we split and placed in our garden for no dig gardening. So it's really good to have that. But anyways, let's take you along for a garden tour and just show you how things have been coming along. If you've been following our other videos, you might be interested to see where we are now, you know, a week later. Things have definitely been taking off, and it's looking really good in the garden. Another important thing to keep in mind is for your placement of your garden is to know how much rainfall you get. If you know how much rainfall you get, you can work out what sort of drainage and stuff you need in your garden. Drainage is really important. Again, we're doing our raised garden beds. That helps a lot with the drainage, seeing that we've got heavy clay soils. So what I've started doing, just for myself and also understanding how much rain we're getting, is I've got a rain meter, and this, as you can see, is a bit of rain we've already had during the day. So yeah, just using one of these and writing it down every day gives you a bit of an indication of what sort of the rain patterns are. Knowing how much you're going to get, you can also plan how you're going to use your water reserves that you have. And there's nothing worse than running out of water when you're trying to grow vegetables. So definitely a must is knowing the amount of water that you've got available to you. Well, hopefully this video has been of use to you guys. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. So yeah, have a good day. Hope you found some value out of this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.